there need to be any change. This is already complete. There isn't someone in it that is separate. There's only an appearance of separation. There's only an energy that feels separate. But that energy that is separate, that contracted energy, is also wholeness. So there's no agenda here, there's no energy here to change anything. That's why there's no prescription, that's why there's no advice, that's why nothing is given to do, because this doesn't recognise that there's any need to do anything, because this also doesn't recognise that there's anyone in this room.
I'd like to see if I can articulate.
Sorry?
I'd like to see whether I can articulate a distinction I've been experiencing, which is that. So what you've described is kind of the world of the shift of what's already here and the world of me and the contracted energy of the me. And I'm suggesting that within the shift of this being everything and nothing, I can see moments of the personality arising within that, and then and a sense of kind of a narrowing into that dilemma for brief periods of time, and then seem to dissolve of its own accord.
Oh yeah.
And I'll give an example. Just riding up on the train, I suddenly think that maybe I got it wrong, that I'm going to the wrong Kisslegg or something. Yeah, and it's like, and I'm suddenly like, I'm caught up. Well, you know, what am I going to do if it, and then just something just relaxed back into the peace, just of its own accord. So at least it's been in my experience that I thought prior, you know, that there's the world of the separate individual and the seeking, and that there's something missing and there's wrong, and then there's this awakening, and it doesn't seem to be the way, you know, anything resembling what I thought.
Oh no, this is nothing like you think.
So it seems like the possibility of residue still existing within this energetic shift, you know, and really the key is the amazingness of the shift of energy into and what happens as a result of that, and rather than, you know, the concept of what you're talking about, and surprisingly with you know, various, you know, stories coming up, nothing seems to like go back to the way it was.
Well, there is something that we find most people go through, and we did, Claire and I, most people go through what I call an awakening period, where there is a residue of me and not, and me and not. It's like a meing and being energy that goes on for a while, for a long while, or 5 minutes.
Whatever.
And then there is a final apparent collapse. Actually, in the end, well, we could talk about this more tomorrow, but actually nothing happens. There is no such thing as a seeker, like being and being, or a liberation. There's no such thing. But in order to describe it in story form, or there'll be a description of it in story form, but actually there is nothing that happens. But you could say, in a sense, it seems that most people go through an awakening where there's a movement in and out, and then suddenly the whole thing collapses, and there is no residue because there is nothing left. In liberation, there isn't anything left. All that's left is what is apparently happening. There's no one in it. There's nothing, no one that is happening to it. There's just what is happening. And then there is no residue, and there's nothing to come back to because there never was anything there anyway. In a way you could say it's a return to the natural reality in which there is no one. But prior to that, it seems for most, not everyone, we know people that have shifted from being someone to being nothing. But as part of that, in the majority of cases, it seems that there is a dancing in and out of residue.
Do you find in the course of your day, for example, in getting caught up in business or whatever, that there's absolutely no difference in experience with yourself of just sitting?
No, hold on. When there is no one, there is no experiencer, and there is nothing there left but what is happening. And the response out of this response now, this voice is not coming out of anyone or any sort of knowledge. It's coming out of no thing. It's just nothing. I mean, that question is also coming out of nothing, but it might be going through the filter of an artificial idea that there's someone that's asking it, and somebody that wants an answer. But in the end, when the whole thing collapses, there's nothing left. There's not somebody there that's experiencing it.